Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. An important video today talking about chipping yips and something we can try to do to help you combat your yips, so hopefully we can make it a thing of the past. So a lot of the times people develop the yips because their chipping technique makes them miss the ball a lot or makes them hit bad chips. The more bad chips you hit, the more careful and the more tentative you become, and that's how yips occur, okay? I'm not saying that's the only way yips occur, but for the most part, the yips can be fixed and improved on with better technique, with better concept, and better understanding of how the wedge should interact with the ground and the ball. So a lot of the times when I see players for the first time who struggle with chipping or who has the yips, it's typically because they tend to set up with the weight on their left or on the lead side, lean the handle forward, and they try to pinch the ball, hit it very solid. That's okay if you hit the ball solid, but eventually if you miss, you can see I hit the ground first, my club just bounced up off and I missed the ball completely, okay? Or eventually, let's say I chunk a couple times, if I want to feel like I'm going to hit this cleaner, I'm going to try to be very careful with it, and then I get very jabby with it, and that's not very good either. So we really have to understand how this club should interact with the ground. So every single wedge has a certain amount of bounce to it. The bounce is very rounded, and you see that makes the leading edge higher off the ground than the bounce. If I put this club on the ground, the leading edge should be off the ground, okay? And since the leading edge is so sharp and off the ground, we shouldn't really take too many divots if we chip properly, because the bounce is so rounded is what helps you glide through the grass with no divots. So if I chip properly, you can see I hit that chip 3 inches before and that ball still came out okay, just because it's the bounce of the club which hit the ground and not the leading edge. So in order to help you fix the yips, guys, we have to now understand how to move this bounce. We've just talked about we want this bounce to hit the ground. In order to do that, you got to make sure you set up properly to allow the bounce to come in play. Anything that leads the shaft forward, you can see brings the leading edge into play, which is what we don't want. We want the bounce to stay in play, okay? In order to do that, we got to set up pretty neutral, 50-50 weight, ball in the middle, maybe just to say middle at first, and you can see I have a little bit of shaft lean, lead shoulder to hands and club have a rough straight line. If I lean the shaft too forward, there's no straight line. So I want to maintain this straight line. And from here, I'm going to move this straight line back and forth on the same size and same speed with no acceleration. I'm going to do my best to go back and forth at the same size, same speed. I'm going to hit the ground first, 1 inch before. If you hit 2 inches before, it's okay. 2-3 inches, it's still okay. We just don't want to try to hit the ball first. So for all of you who have struggled with the chipping, who have yips, who have scar tissue, don't chip to a hole yet. Just really get comfortable with how the ball interacts with the ground, how the wedge interacts with the ground, and how the wedge goes through the grass to help the ball lift off, okay? Hit a couple chips where you feel like you hit the ground first. 1, 2, feeling like the backswing and downswing in the same pace. Once you get comfortable with that, okay, we're gonna change the routine a little bit. We're gonna now, let's just say you get very comfortable with hitting the ground first, the ball comes up okay during the practices. Now it's time to bring it into play. Now we're gonna make sure that we can think about our past issues, our past misses the least amount. So we're gonna change up the routine entirely. We're gonna set up over the ball like you're about to hit, okay? You're gonna bring this club inside the ball so that you can chip and not hit the ball. So let's say I set up ready to hit the ball, I'm gonna move my wedge closer. I'm gonna hit a couple practice swings. Let's say I'm gonna hit a couple practice swings back and forth. I feel the club hitting the ground. I'm gonna quickly go in and try to replicate the same thing, hitting the ground first. And you can see the ball pops up very nicely, okay? The reason why I want to set up over the ball and then bring the club closer is so that we don't have to move into the ball. We're trying to cut the amount of time between the practice and the reel so that there's less time for you to think about what could go wrong about the past. We're just going to try to stay as present as possible and hopefully think about the new results that are going to happen, which is more good chips. So I'm going to do this a couple more times for you guys. I'm going to take my setup 50-50, straight line from my lead shoulder to the hands of the club behind the ball. I'm going to bring it inside, hit a couple practice chips, feeling same size, same speed. Club hits the ground first. I quickly go in and try to replicate it and see what happens. So try that out, guys. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it. I'm not saying this is a 100% guarantee fix, but typically, in my experiences helping with players who struggle with the yips, this has seemed to help, okay? This has seemed to help them cure them of the yips, where they can now hit high, soft chips. They don't dig the leading edge into the ground. So just a quick summary again. 50-50 weight, lead shoulder to hands, the club makes a straight line. You're gonna set up on the ball, bring the club inside the ball, couple practice swings, feeling like the bounce hits the ground first, quickly set up, line it up, and replicate it. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that will help. Any questions, just leave in the comments below. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching, everybody.